What is dharma from a neurological perspective? Dharma is what you are meant to do. What is your duty? What are you supposed to do? In other words, what is your purpose? Back in the day, your purpose was given to you by the family that you are born in. So if you're born in a carpenter house, your dharma is to become a carpenter. And nothing wrong in that. That's just the way that it was. Today, dharma is self-appointed. You decide what your dharma is. The problem is, most people don't, or they keep switching. Now, again, nothing wrong in that. But you have to know what your dharma is. In other words, you have to know what your purpose is. A loss of dharma or a loss of purpose can be very scary. And the reason that the Bhagavad Gita talks about dharma so much, you decide what your dharma is. But decide. And once you've decided, stick to it. Be true to your dharma. Because that gives you clarity. That gives you a direction. That gives you motivation. That gives you purpose. And the more dharma you are true to, the less your limbic system will need to get activated. The less you are getting controlled by emotion. So think about it this way. If you have a destination, if you get into your car and you say that from Bombay, I'm going to Goa. That is your dharma. Now, in the middle, you might stop in Lonavala, you might stop at Pune, you might meet interesting people, you might spend a few days in Mahabaleshwar. All of that is okay. But you know that your purpose is to get to Goa. What if you don't have a dharma? And what if you just decide to get into your car and travel? You don't really know where you're going. You might just end up anywhere. In that case, you have to make the travel itself your dharma. Say that my purpose is to go wherever life takes me. Again, nothing wrong. But then you are not lost. The problem is, if you say that I will go wherever life takes me, and then constantly wonder, am I lost? This is the tricky thing about dharma. If it is self-appointed, you have to appoint it. You have to take ownership of your dharma, of your purpose, of your motivation. And I am speaking from a personal journey as well. Everybody goes through a transition, especially in today's time when things are changing so much, so often. Something that you thought you wanted to do when you were 15 may not be what you want to do when you're 20 or 25. And that's okay. But at any given point, you should know what your dharma is. And you should be true to that dharma. Because changing your dharma is a big thing. And adharma is not having that. Saying that I will live in the moment and only in the moment, which is another way of saying that I will live as a slave to my limbic impulses. And every religion has this in common, which is don't be a slave to your limbic impulses. Every religion, Christianity, Islam, Buddhism, Jainism, Hinduism, every religion has one thing in common, which is don't be a slave to your limbic impulses. That is the one thing that everyone across all cultures has figured out, that if you are a slave to your limbic impulses, you are not going to live a happy life. Eventually, you will suffer. Eventually, you will be sad. So don't do that. So Christianity has come up with 7 deadly sins, which is lust and gluttony and theft and all of that. All of them are limbic impulses. So those are deadly sins, and Christianity says don't do that. Basically, what is it saying? Don't listen to the limbic system. Jainism, you have to fast, you have to walk, you have to go through discomfort. Why? Because limbic. Don't listen to limbic. Islam, 5 times a day. Namaz. Why? You need discipline, you need regularity. You can't just be like, aaj mujhe man nahi kar raha hai. Nahi. Don't listen to limbic. Plan. And they don't say don't enjoy or, don't be true to your moment, all of that. Nahi. But don't be a slave to your limbic. You have to be the master to the emotions. You'll notice all of them are limbic. All the 7 deadly sins are limbic. So all religions have figured out that bhai ye limbic ka jo chakkar hai na, emotions ka chakkar hai, that is a problem. Bhagavad Gita also talks about it, that anybody who is a slave to their senses will not really progress in life. You have to become superior to that. You have to become a master to your senses, not a slave to your senses. That is adharma. I think adharma is becoming a slave to your limbic emotion. Limbic is not bad. Let me be very, very clear. Limbic is not bad, but limbic is just in the moment, and you, my friend, are more than that. I think the moral of the story is you are more than this moment. You are a lifetime. You are legacy. You are consequence. You are long term. You are not just here and now. You are far more than that. So while it is a beautiful thing to be here and now, you should be here and now because your PFC said so, not because your limbic said so.